All right, TJ, I know you're probably a little weary-eyed this morning. It was a late-night flight for you guys, but I've been on those. You've been on those before. It had to be a lot of fun coming back after a win like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, 4-hour flight, not fun. Winning a thrilling game, fun. So probably evened out. Got home
What was
late
your anxiety level yesterday during the game? I mean, good, bad, good, bad.
I mean, it's like so many people are like, man, that was a fun game. And I was like, I didn't really have that much fun. I mean, it was, you go from one end of, the emotion to the complete opposite about 70 times during a game. I don't know if that's fun. That's stressful. The ending was fun. The last 4 minutes was fun.
Yeah. Last 2 seconds.
Yeah. The field goal was fun. Celebration was fun. But for 58 minutes, it wasn't that much fun. But man, it was, it felt like it was about time for this offense to start hitting their stride a bit and to, really go win a game for them. I mean, we've seen the defense do that a number of times so far this year. And coming out of the bye, we know that's a big time for self-scout, figuring out, hey, what do we got to improve on? What are our weaknesses? And the offense, the big thing I kept hearing last week is, man, we just got to play to our potential. We're leaving so many plays out there. Yesterday, I thought was a gigantic step forward for that offense. And, man, we could tell just what a difference it makes when they're healthy, right? Jonah, Frank, Montgomery. You get a couple snaps where you get all those guys on the field with Jamison Williams and Gibbs and the different speed and the different option. You can tell just how it widens the playbook for the play caller. I thought the offense was absolutely incredible yesterday. Offensive line, man, they were my MVPs for sure. No sacks against that group.
Yeah.
Chargers were second in the league. I think had 31 sacks going into the game. I think they were fifth or sixth overall in rush defense. You basically took their strengths and said, we're stronger, we're better, and we're going to prove it. And they took it personal. And it was good to see them play like that on the road too. It was good to see them win in that type of fashion, because even going back to last year, this team had only won one game while allowing 30 points. And that was Chicago won last year, where they won 31-30. Normally when they allow 30 points or more, they're losing games. So it was good to see the offense be able just to keep throwing punches, man. And that's football. We've seen it how many times this year where the offense is struggling and turning the ball over, and defense is like, don't worry, gotcha. We're going to go get a stop. We're going to go get the ball back for you. So it was good to see the flip side of that. I know there's going to be a lot of guys that watch the film today on the defensive side that sure, you're happy you won the game, but there's going to be a lot of frustrations. Good news is, you're coming off a win, which usually makes things better. You get to make those corrections with a better attitude, better taste in your mouth. Overall, coming out of the bye week, showing up, playing great offense like that, man, that was just a hell of a win. A lot of confidence builders too, I think. A lot of confidence builders. Jamison, I know he didn't get a ton of opportunities. The one touchdown got called back, but he seemed to make every play that was there. Threw a big block for Montgomery. Riley Patterson, big question, right? Hey, how's our kicker situation? Goes out there, nails a game-winning field goal as time expires. Those are all confidence builders, not only for the players, but the coaching staff going into the rest of the season.
So let's talk about some more of the positives before we talk a little bit about the defense and what they could possibly do to make some corrections. The offense, the one that always has to play well for them to have a chance to win is Jared Goff. What'd you see from him? I like the fact that when you hear from Amon-Ra St. Brown after the game that the wrong personnel was in there for the play that was called before David Montgomery went for 75 yards, it was 11 personnel. They needed 21 personnel or 12 personnel, whatever it was, and they didn't have it. So Jared Goff checks at the line of scrimmage. The touchdown pass that we saw thrown to Brock Wright, it looked like that one was a check as well. You've got a quarterback in there who's patient, who's calm, doesn't get rattled, making calls like that. I loved what I saw from him, and I love the fact that there were no turnovers, no picks, no interceptions, no bad throws by Jared Goff.
Yeah, his best road game that I can remember by far. The poise, the confidence. You could tell early in that game that they were protecting him, right? They were taking care of him. He was having time to go to his second, third, fourth reads, move around the pocket a little bit, extend plays. That for any quarterback is going to be a confidence builder early in the game, especially when you look across the line and you see what kind of pass rushers the other team has. When your guys are holding up, you're like, okay, hell yeah, like we're good. I know they got my back. I thought he was incredible yesterday. I thought he was really good. A lot of tight throws on some third downs. A couple passes there where, receivers made great catches, but also a couple really nice pass. There was one Amon-Ra St. Brown there, kind of looked like maybe triple coverage, right? Safety's coming down, a couple linebackers are squeezing in, and he just threads the needle right where only 14 can grab it. The play right before the last fourth down, getting the ball out to Amon-Ra to set up the 4th and 2 on a I think it was 3rd and 14, 3rd and 15.
Yeah.
And to be able to give yourself a chance to convert that 4th and 2 big time throw again. I just thought there's something looked different about his demeanor yesterday. He looked the most comfortable I can remember seeing him on the road. And look, I think Jared Goff, I talked to him a little bit during the week last week. He was a guy that said, I need to step up, man. I need to start playing more consistent ball. We're winning games. We're happy with that. But, still a couple mistakes here, a couple missed passes here, a couple missed checks or misreads. He still felt like he could take his game to a different level. I thought he did yesterday. That was damn evident from the sideline, from my opinion.
Yeah, and so when you look around the offense, it was Sam Laporta had a really nice game. Not nothing to knock your socks off, but was solid again. Amon-Ra St. Brown, obviously the best of the pass catchers. We saw it from J-Mo, two targets, 2 catches.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this earlier. J-Mo being a part of this offense, he came in after 4 weeks. This offense had already developed some chemistry. They can add J-Mo in, and everybody keeps asking, when is he going to be a bigger part of this? Well, I think they've got a lot of things going right now, whether it's, Khalif Raymond, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, Josh Reynolds. Like, they've got a really good system going.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that J-Mo can't be a part of it, but they're going to fit him in where he gets in. And then when an opportunity presents itself, that's where he's got to strike.
Yeah.
And then hopefully another opportunity. And hopefully he grows through the course of the rest of the year. But missing those first 4 games and this offense and everything moving on without him doesn't mean he can't be a part of it. It's just it's just another year where it's kind of stunted his growth.
Yeah, and I think, look, Dan Campbell and his coaching staff, they talk about all the time. They want reliable guys. And, I'm not saying this to knock Jameson, but there's been something missing there so far this season with that connection. The reliable guys you just mentioned, Amon-Ra, right? Sam Laporta, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs. Those are guys that are proven to be reliable guys. So if you're going to try to elevate somebody below them, which one of those guys are you going to knock down, right? So you're at the point of the season now where, you nailed it, right? You can't go into games saying, all right, man, we got to have a big game from Jameson today. No, you don't need to do that. You need to have a couple plays for him, certainly to utilize his speed and make the defense think about a different threat. And if you're Jameson, when you do get those plays, you got to make them count. Yesterday was a step in the right direction for him. I think that, it sucked, obviously, to see the touchdown called back because that could have been a moment that kind of propelled him a little bit.
Yeah.
But even on, the little things, the details, doing things the right way, finishing plays, hustling downfield and throwing an extra block to spring Dave Montgomery to get in the end zone on that 75-yard touchdown. Those are things that are going to stick out to your teammates when they watch the film. Those are the things that are going to show everybody else that, even though I'm not, the number one guy and getting 9-10 targets, I'm still invested. I'm still, I'm dedicated to this team. I'm laying it out there for you guys. I'm going to do everything I can to help you be successful. That's the way you earn more trust from the coaching staff.
Yeah.
That's how you earn trust from your quarterback. That's how you prove that you are one of those reliable guys. And I thought yesterday was certainly a step in the right direction. But you're right. This offense, the way they're rolling right now, I think it would be a mistake, and I think it would be unfair to say we're going to try to start forcing something else, right? Because you know what type of team you are. You've got the playmakers there. You've got the reliable guys. And look, if you can get Jameson 5-6 touches a game, and he can make a difference for you, that's big time. That's good production, right? At this point of the season. And hopefully we do get one of those games sooner than later, because I think a game like that for him, could be the confidence boost that a young kid needs.
Yeah. Now defensively, we touched on it a little bit earlier on, but I mean, hey, the last 5 times that the Chargers had the ball, Justin Herbert had the ball, they were touchdowns. And obviously the Lions were able to keep pace with them, ultimately outpace them by 3 points. How concerned is there a level of concern from your perspective about this defense?
Kind of the same issues that we've kind of been nibbling at throughout the year. Really haven't cost this team yet, but when you talk about the pass rush not being consistent, when you talk about some holes there in the coverage, these are issues that have popped up now for a couple weeks in a row. Even the Raiders game. I mean, I know that, they made Jimmy Garoppolo look like a high schooler, but there was a couple plays there where guys are running wide open and, just bad throws. The pass rush, I mean, the kind of coming in bunches, right? I mean, most of your sacks are in 3 out of your 9 games now.
Yeah.
You start, I'm maybe not worried, slight concern though, that, we're not seeing enough consistency from that group. I will say, however, I'm willing to give the defense a pass on that one, because I do think that they've been a large part, a majority part of the reason why this team was 6-2 heading into that game.
Yeah.
They've done their fair share in a whole lot of games this year of keeping teams off the field and getting turnovers and getting big stops, when the offense needed them to. Yesterday, they needed the offense to make some plays, and the offense finally came through. So I don't have a major concern about yesterday. I thought it was one of those games where Justin Herbert was hot. I mean, the receivers were making great throws. There were certainly times where there were breakdowns in coverages. We know that's going to happen, but I don't look at this defense and say, whoa, that was an eye opener. Oh my goodness. The rest of the season, man, oh my God, you're right. I'm worried now. Slightly concerned, but we know it's the NFL. You're going to have games like that where the other team, the coordinators are winning that kind of cat and mouse battle, and the other team is going to make some plays. And we've both been a part of both those type of games on both sides. And if there's anything I've learned about Aaron Glenn over these last 19 games, is that he tends to figure it out.
Yeah.
Right. He tends to, when they have a game like that, they usually come back the next week with their asses on fire and usually find a way to respond. So I think that they've earned that belief that, hey, they're going to be fine. They're going to have a good week of practice and hopefully get back next week.
Well, you've mentioned before, we've talked about it all the time, about the marriage of the pass rush and the coverage. One thing I would like to see in the pass rush that could definitely help out the coverage is I want him to move Hutch around more. We saw that, I forget what game it was, but they were using him as a 3 technique. They even stood him up and used him as a guy that was going to be a stand-up, and then they, at the snap of the ball, he'd line up as a 5, or he'd line up wide. He'd do some different things.
Green Bay game.
Was it Green Bay?
It's kind of a spinner look, kind of wandering the line, and then, hey, all right, boom, I'm rushing here, boom, I'm rushing there.
I mean, hey, if he's going to be the stud that we think he is, or that he wants to be, put him over Slater, and then put Kaminsky over, Pipkins, put Pascal over the right tackle. Move him around. So I don't want to say it's ever predictable where he's going to be, because they do move him, but I would move him more so that you can try and create matchups like Kaminsky against Slater. Probably not going to win that one. Hutch against Slater. Now you got a fighter's chance. You put Kaminsky over Pipkins. Maybe you got a fighter's chance. And yeah, you don't want to give up one that you should win. And we saw Hutch terrorize Pipkins in those first couple of series where, hey, bull rush. He puts him right in the lap of Justin Herbert. And I thought, okay, here we go. Never got a sack. What do you think about just trying to move him around more up front to either create better matchups for other guys or just to make it less predictable where he's at?
Yeah, I like that. And I think that they had been doing that in previous games. And I think that does make the offense think about something, right? You don't just know where he's lining up every time. Now you can find a way to double team. Hey, we're sliding the guard, we're sliding the tight end.
Yeah.
If you get up to line of scrimmage and he's over here. Right now you're throwing a wrench in the offense's plan. So I would like to see them get back to that. I just thought yesterday it was tough. I mean, it didn't really seem like there were too many third longs where they could kind of get their package on the field that they wanted. It didn't seem like they had really enough time to substitute, especially with the fast up tempo that the Chargers were playing with. I mean, they weren't playing like a true no huddle where get to line, snap it, but they were getting to the line, which doesn't allow you to substitute. And they were kind of taking their time and then reading the defense and we'll pick a play there. I just thought the Chargers, I thought they had a good plan on offense. I thought the up tempo was something that this Lions defense really hadn't seen this season, especially for the majority of a game, right? So I think all those kind of play into, hey, we're not getting in the personnel we want because, we're being rushed a little bit. You don't want to get a substitution penalty and, give the other team a freebie. But yeah, that's going to be something that moving forward, they're going to have to try to find more ways to be creativity with the personnel, with the alignment, with where they want to put their guys, just to be in a position to make plays. And, hopefully that starts this week. I mean, I know we all know kind of this Bears team, and certainly their offensive line is not a strength. They haven't been playing bad. Honestly, I've been watching them, but that's a group that you look at and say, okay, if this D lineman, if you need a kind of confidence game and a get right type game, you got to figure it out this week. Because if you can't get after, Justin Fields may play. Now it's early in the week, but this is, you kind of feel like, man, it's got to start clicking at some point. And this kind of seems like about the same time as last year where things started to click for this defense a little bit too.
Especially with James Houston.
Yeah, and you got some, kind of reserves coming out there. I don't, kind of look at now and okay, guys, nobody's really coming in to help, right? We don't have anybody you guys got to start figuring it out. But yeah, to get back to your original point, I think Aaron Glenn, and he raved about that Green Bay game, man. We had Hutch walking around the line, man, and they didn't know where he was rushing, and he was a menace. Like to see him get back to that a little bit more.
So we got two division games coming up, both at home. The Bears and the Packers. Right now sitting at 7-2. What does that mean for the Lions? The Minnesota Vikings, I believe, are 6-4. So they're, technically a game and a half behind the Lions, but they've played that one extra game. So they've got 10 in the bank. The Lions only have 9 in the bank with their bye week. And I think it's 3 weeks before Minnesota goes on their bye. But you've got 2 division games at home, the Bears and the Packers. How important is it for them to be able to get to 9-2?
These are games you have to take care of. Just straight up. I mean, you get back-to-back home games. Yep, you got to take care of them. And we know this team now, 5-1 last year, 1-0 this year. Yeah, 6-1 against this division over your last 7 games. If you want to really prove that you're the king of the North and this is your division, that starts this weekend, right? Normally these games are not easy. We all know that. You play twice a year, weird things can happen. You're familiar with each other. It's a little bit more black and blue football than it is, kind of the finesse that we just saw yesterday out in LA. But this is a great opportunity for you to prove that, you're the king of the North. And we've kind of been hearing all season that, this is our division, man. That's always goal number one, is take care of the division. You're going to have a great opportunity to just keep building off of that this week. And, now you start to get 8-2. Now you start to get 9-2. Now those, dreams and hopes that you had at the beginning of the season start to become a little bit more clear and a little closer. But yeah, you can't lose sight of what got you here, right? I think Campbell nailed it last week when he was talking, man, this is time, like, we got to hit a springboard. We got to go, right? We're 6-2. We're playing good football, but we've got a lot of space to get better. We've got a lot of improvements that still need to be made. And we hit on it quite often. The teams that have a chance come December and come January are the teams that just can't find a way to get better each week. And that's something that the Lions are going to have a great opportunity starting Sunday with the Chicago Bears. That's a game that, if you are who we think you are, if you are who you think you are, that's a game you should take care of.
And in regards to the playoffs, sitting here at 7-2, they're in second position in the NFC. Obviously, San Francisco, who the Lions don't have to play. They don't have to play the Philadelphia Eagles either. But San Francisco has 3 losses. Lions have 2. Eagles have 2. And I was trying to pull up the Eagles' schedule. I know they play Kansas City coming up here this week. That's in Kansas City. They've got the Bills. They've got the Niners. Both of those games are at home. They're at Dallas. They've got a 5-game stretch here where they're playing some pretty damn good teams. Do you think at some point in the next month we're sitting here talking about the Lions at Thanksgiving time being in the driver's seat of the NFC?
Yeah, I do see an opening. How can you not? I mean, especially yesterday, right? We're talking at the bye week, and we're like, okay, you got some tough, LA's a tough game, right? If we can find a way to go, 3-1 over this next 4-game stretch, be in a good spot. Number one, taken care of, right? You had probably your most difficult challenge over that stretch. Good.
Third quarter of the season.
Got it done, right? Now you get a chance to come home for a couple games where this team has been really good. I mean, I could see a scenario where we're sitting here early December saying, holy like we kind of joked about this a couple months ago. There's a legit chance now.
We tried to avoid the topic because we didn't want to be called loonies.
Yeah, and and look, you said, you kind of mentioned Philly's schedule, and they've got some division games left themselves, which, we know aren't easy. I still think it's maybe too early to start scoreboard watching a little bit. You just got to keep worrying about what you're doing in-house and taking care of your own business. But I could definitely see a scenario, especially if these next 2 weeks go the way they should go.
Yeah.
I could sit here and say, my goodness, man, like we hit the gas, right? Now we go. And now you never know what could happen. So, but it's all up to them, man. It's up to them. And it's promising to see them win in different ways. It's promising to see, complementary football being played. And I think, this, when the offensive line plays like that and the running game plays like that, you can beat anybody in this league. We know how that works. So that was obviously a great starting point yesterday in LA. And I know that's going to be something that's a big point of emphasis. We got to continue to just keep hammering teams like that, because that's our identity.
Yeah. In the next 2 weeks, just for Minnesota, they are at Denver. Sunday night football. So they got primetime games, and then they are the following week on Monday night against the Bears. So they've got some primetime exposure. The Bears have showed up in primetime. Maybe they're able to do it against Minnesota and widen that gap that the Detroit Lions have. So TJ, I appreciate it. Hopefully you get a chance to get some rest this afternoon, and we'll see you at the end of the week. We'll see you at the end of the week, and we'll talk to you guys at the end of the week as well. Thanks for listening to Necessary Roughness.